Welcome, and thanks for joining us as we take a closer look at Bitcoin. It's one of those things everyone's heard of, but maybe not everyone fully gets. We've got some fascinating articles here ready to break it all down for you.
Yeah, it really is interesting how much attention Bitcoin gets. What's fascinating is that even though it's been around for a while now, it still feels like this mysterious force in the financial world.
Right, like is it some kind of magic internet money? Or is it the future of finance? Or just a risky gamble?
Well, all of that, maybe. But let's start by defining what Bitcoin actually is. It's a digital currency, which means it only exists online. You can think of it as like a type of digital money that you can use to buy things or send to other people.
Okay, so no physical coins or bills involved.
Exactly. It's all digital. Now, what makes Bitcoin unique is that it operates on something called a blockchain.
Okay, I've heard that term thrown around a lot, but honestly, I'm not sure I fully understand it.
Sure. Think of a blockchain like a giant digital ledger that keeps track of every Bitcoin transaction ever made. It's public so anyone can see it, which makes it very transparent and secure. But it's also decentralized, meaning it's not controlled by any single entity, like a bank or government.
So instead of a bank keeping track of my money, it's this public blockchain doing the work.
Precisely. No single person or institution has control over Bitcoin. That was the whole idea behind its creation back in 2008.
Wait, 2008? That was right around the time of the big financial crisis, wasn't it? Is there a connection?
There might be. Remember, Bitcoin was created by someone, or maybe a group of people. Using the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto, their true identity is still a mystery to this day.
Wow. Talk about mysterious origins. Okay, so this Satoshi Nakamoto, they created Bitcoin in 2008, but how did it actually go from an idea to a real thing?
Well, the first Bitcoin block, called the Genesis block, was mined in January 2009.
Mined? Like digging for gold?
Not quite. It's a process where powerful computers solve complex mathematical problems to verify and add new transactions to the blockchain. And as a reward for doing this work, they get some Bitcoin.
So that's where new Bitcoin comes from. It's not like a government just printing more money.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that makes Bitcoin so different from traditional currencies. There's a limited supply of Bitcoin. Only 21 million will ever exist.
So it's like digital gold.
Yeah.
Scarce and potentially valuable because of that scarcity.
That's a good analogy. And as more people adopt Bitcoin and demand grows, its value has the potential to increase.
So how do you even get your hands on some Bitcoin? Can you just buy it?
Yes. You can buy Bitcoin on exchanges, which are kind of like online marketplaces for cryptocurrencies. And as we talked about, you can also mine it, though it requires a lot of technical expertise and powerful computing equipment.
Yeah. I think buying it on an exchange sounds a little easier for me. Okay, so let's say I buy some Bitcoin. What can I actually do with it?
Well, you can use it to buy things online. More and more businesses are starting to accept Bitcoin as payment. Some people also see it as an investment opportunity.
So I could use it like regular money to buy stuff.
Yeah.
Or hold on to it hoping it goes up in value.
That's the general idea. However, it's crucial to remember that Bitcoin is still a relatively new and volatile asset. Its price can fluctuate dramatically, making it a high-risk investment.
So it's not exactly for the faint of heart.
Definitely not. It's important to do your research, understand the risks, and only invest what you can afford to lose.
Solid advice. But I'm curious, what makes Bitcoin's price go up and down so much?
It's a complex interplay of factors. Things like media coverage, government regulations, and even just overall sentiment in the market can impact its price.
Okay, so it's a bit of a wild ride. But speaking of price, what is Bitcoin actually worth right now?
As of November 6, 2024, Bitcoin is trading at around $74,704.
Wow, that's a lot of money for one coin. So if someone had bought just one Bitcoin back when it first came out and held onto it, they'd be pretty happy right now, wouldn't they?
They certainly would. But remember, past performance is no guarantee of future returns. Bitcoin's price could go up, down, or sideways from here.
Right. It sounds like there's a lot more to learn about Bitcoin, its history, its potential, and its risks. It's been really helpful to get this overview, though.
Absolutely. And we've only just scratched the surface, so we've talked about what Bitcoin is and how it works, at least on a basic level, but let's dig a little deeper into some of the nuances. One thing you hear a lot about with Bitcoin is its volatility.
Yeah. The price swings can be pretty dramatic, right? What drives that?
Well, think of it like a giant seesaw. On one side, you've got factors pushing the price up. For example, if you hear about a big company like Tesla investing in Bitcoin, that creates a sense of legitimacy and signals to others that it's a worthwhile investment.
Oh, so positive news and growing adoption can drive the price up. What about the other side of the seesaw?
That's where you find the things that can pull the price down. Imagine a major security breach on a Bitcoin exchange where people lose their Bitcoin.
Oh, yikes. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it creates a lot of uncertainty and fear in the market, and that can cause the price to drop. And because Bitcoin is still relatively new and unregulated, it's especially sensitive to these sorts of events.
Okay, so news and events can cause big price swings. But you also mentioned government regulation. How does that factor in?
That's a big one. Governments around the world are still trying to figure out how to deal with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Some countries are embracing it while others are taking a more cautious approach.
So in some places, using Bitcoin might be totally fine, while in others, it might be a legal gray area.
Exactly. And that uncertainty can impact the price. If a country announces strict regulations on Bitcoin, it could scare investors and cause the price to drop. On the other hand, positive regulations that foster innovation could boost confidence and attract more investment.
Got it. So it sounds like keeping an eye on the regulatory landscape is crucial for anyone interested in Bitcoin.
Absolutely. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about how you actually store Bitcoin. We mentioned buying it on exchanges, but you don't just leave it sitting on the exchange, do you?
I have a feeling that wouldn't be very safe, would it?
You're right. That's where Bitcoin wallets come in. Think of them like digital bank accounts for your Bitcoin.
Okay. So instead of keeping my money in a bank, I keep my Bitcoin in a wallet. But there are different types of wallets, right?
You've got software wallets, which are apps you can download on your phone or computer. These are convenient for everyday transactions.
So if I want to use Bitcoin to buy something online, I'd use a software wallet.
Exactly. But if you're storing a large amount of Bitcoin, you might want to consider a hardware wallet.
Okay, what's the difference?
Hardware wallets are like little USB drives that store your Bitcoin offline. They're not connected to the internet, which makes them much more secure.
Ah, so it's like keeping your Bitcoin in a vault.
That's a great way to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got web wallets, which are hosted online by third-party services. They're convenient, but they're also less secure.
Yeah.
Because you're trusting someone else to keep your Bitcoin safe.
So it's kind of like choosing between keeping your cash under your mattress in a bank or with a friend. Each has its own level of risk and reward.
Exactly. It all comes down to your individual needs and risk tolerance. Now, one more thing I want to touch on is the environmental impact of Bitcoin.
Right. I've heard about the energy consumption of Bitcoin mining being a concern.
It's true that Bitcoin mining uses a lot of electricity. Those powerful computers solving complex math problems require a lot of energy to run. However, the traditional banking system also consumes a significant amount of energy.
So it's not a simple black and white issue.
Not at all. There are efforts underway to make Bitcoin mining more sustainable. Some miners are switching to renewable energy sources, while others are exploring more energy-efficient mining algorithms.
So it sounds like the industry is aware of the problem and is actively looking for solutions. That's good to hear.
Definitely. But despite its challenges, Bitcoin has sparked a fascinating conversation about the future of money.
Yeah, you're right. We've covered a lot of ground here. From Bitcoin's origins and how it works to its potential and its risks. It's been really insightful to delve into all these different aspects.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about what Bitcoin is and how it works, and some of the factors that can influence its price. We even touched on the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining. But before we wrap things up, I think it's important to step back and consider what it all means. What it all means for the future.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's easy to get caught up. In those technical details, but ultimately, Bitcoin represents a fundamental shift in how we think about money.
Right. It's decentralized. This digital currency that operates independently of banks and governments. That's a pretty radical concept when you think about it.
Yeah, it really is. And it's sparked a lot of debate about the role of traditional financial institutions and the future of money itself.
Some people believe Bitcoin will eventually replace traditional currencies, becoming the dominant form of money worldwide.
Right. While others think it's more likely to coexist with traditional systems, offering an alternative for those who value things like decentralization and privacy.
So it could be a complete paradigm shift. Or it could just become a complementary system. I guess no one knows for sure how it will all play out.
Exactly. But one thing is certain. Bitcoin has already disrupted the financial world in a really profound way. It's forced us to rethink the very nature of money and the role of institutions like banks and governments.
And even if Bitcoin itself doesn't become the currency of the future, the underlying blockchain technology, I mean, that seems like it's here to stay.
Oh, absolutely. Blockchain is being explored for a wide range of applications. Everything from supply chain management to voting systems, to healthcare records. It's a technology with immense potential.
Wow, so Bitcoin is just the tip of the iceberg. We're really witnessing the early stages of a technological revolution here.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure. But it's also important to approach this new world with a healthy dose of caution.
Yeah, good point. So before you invest in Bitcoin, or any cryptocurrency for that matter, do your research, understand the technology, the risks, and the potential rewards.
Right. Don't just jump on the bandwagon because everyone else is. Educate yourself, think critically, and make informed decisions.
Great advice. Well, we've come to the end of our exploration of Bitcoin. We've covered a lot of ground, but this is really just the beginning of the conversation.
The world of cryptocurrency is constantly evolving. There's always something new to learn and discover.
So thanks for being here. Be sure to post a comment or topic suggestion below. And join us again next time for a closer look at another great topic.